News Hour tonight. Death toll in Benue attacks hits 55. Governor Elias seeks federal government's help. 2 killed, 13 rescued in Lagos building collapse. Presidency denies claim Shatima was denied access to Aso Villa. Another foreign scene, at least 143 dead, dozens missing in DR Congo boat fire. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Chiamaka Rafo. The death toll in the latest attacks on some communities in Logo and Ukum local government areas of Benue State has risen to 55. The communities, namely Ngondo in Logo and Chulov, Magiri and Ukum local governments, were attacked in a coordinated attack by gunmen suspected to be armed herders between Thursday and Friday. Here's more in this report.
Speaking during an on-the-spot assessment of some of the communities attacked in the 2 local governments on Saturday, the state governor Hyacinth Alia disclosed that the death toll had risen to 55. The governor, earlier in an attempt to address the people of Ukum local government area, was forced to flee to Ogba local government area as the people chanted in resistance until the governor fled. According to him, the death toll in Logo at the time of addressing the people was 27 and another 28 in Ukum, adding that some families had buried their loved ones after being given cover by security operators.
Since these attacks started, we have recovered corpses. As of yesterday, Friday, we received some, and today, Saturday, the tally has risen to 27 in Logo. In Ukum, security operatives have recovered over 28 corpses.
The governor, however, declared that what the state was going through at the moment is a real war which could not be handled with kids' gloves.
There is no room for anyone to sleep with their 2 eyes closed. This is real war. We know our enemies. This is the only state that we have. I mourn with you at this very pathetic and sad moment in your lives.
While commending security agencies for all their sacrifices in ensuring that there is peace in the states, Alia called on the federal government to assist his administration with the necessary support to end the killings and displacement of innocent citizens in the states. The governor promised to take care of the funeral and medical bills of those in the hospital. The affected communities were said to have been deserted as residents have fled to other communities, while others have taken refuge in Zakinbiam and Uba IDP camps.
The Minister of Defense, Muhammad Baduru, on Saturday visited communities that were recently attacked by gunmen in Basa local government area of Plateau State. Speaking during the visit, the minister, who commiserated with the families of those who lost their loved ones, expressed the government's commitment to the safety of lives and property. Baduru further said that the government would engage all stakeholders in the affected communities towards curbing the cycle of killings in the state. Earlier, the Aku Brengwe of Udigwe Chiefdom, Reverend Rankowu, thanked the minister for the visit and commended the federal and state governments for prompt response to the incident. Aku decried incessant attacks and destruction of properties in the chiefdom, called on government and security agencies to intensify efforts to end the violence. Baduru was accompanied on the visit by Dr. Nentawi Yowata, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, senior military personnel, and other government officials.
Excuse me.
Gunmen on Saturday morning opened fire on grazing cattle in Tanjul community of Riyam local government area of Plateau State, injuring 2 herders and some cattle. This incident occurred just hours after Defense Minister Muhammad Baduru Abubakar and Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction Nantari Wadat visited ZK community in Basa local government area where over 50 people were killed and many injured on Sunday. The ministers were in the state to pay a condolence visit to the community over the recent attacks. The state chairman of Yeti Ala Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, Ibrahim Yusuf Babayo, confirmed the incident, stating that the herders were attacked while grazing their cattle. While calling on the security agencies to ensure justice, the chairman further urged members to remain calm and not take laws into their hands, as he is positive the authorities will address the issue. Following the recent surge in number of attacks in Benue State, repentant Boko Haram terrorists in Maiduguri have appealed to their former colleagues to drop their arms and embrace peace. The call was made during a knowledge-sharing event on community-based de-radicalization held in the capital, Maiduguri. Here's more.
It's a gathering of key stakeholders across the state to deliberate on efforts towards ending insurgency without guns via the de-radicalization and reintegration model, which was adopted to strengthen the surrender option for Boko Haram terrorists. It also revealed successes and testimonies of stakeholders.
But there is more to it than everything that we have won. For somebody, in fact, religiously to abandon his comfort zone and then go and then say for the sake of his creator, he has gone into something. That means there are other things that have been fed into the heads, minds and psyche of these individuals. It is beyond material that we can give them. It is beyond anything that you can think of.
I am as a support team of the Benue State government, ensuring that we set up camps, tents attached camp, and also ensure that we support in the rehabilitation center where Caesar's visitation are done at the hedge camp. And apart from the hedge camp, we also have other transit camps like the Shukari camp, and of course the Bulukutu camp, especially where women are being housed.
The platform became an avenue for repentant terrorists to plead with their former colleagues still bearing arms to surrender for the sake of peace and development.
When we returned from the bush, we were accepted and treated nicely. I appeal to you people to forgive me, because after what I learned in the forest, I realized what I did then was wrong. Please forgive me. I beg my former colleagues to please repent. As you can see, we are doing better here, and I beg you all to pray that God touches those in the bush to repent and return.
I joined the Boko Haram campaign in 2020. We attacked many communities and shed innocent blood. We regret everything we destroyed, especially in the Lake Chad. If we knew, we wouldn't have done it, because the communities have everything to take care of this region. But when we left the bush, we were revealed to the true doctrine of Islam. I want to tell my former friends that what they are doing is not the work of Allah. They should come out and embrace peace. Governor Zulum, represented by his security advisors, said the de-radicalization and rehabilitation, which has yielded results over the years, has so far reintegrated repentant terrorists into communities, adding that more are expected to unite with resettled communities.
8 different batches, which you are all aware, and you have covered the program, and we are preparing for the 9th batch that are reintegrated back to the community.
Totaling how many of them?
That's 8,950.
Okay, 9 batches.
8 batches. We are preparing the 9th one before the farming season.
It is hoped that as the message of peace spreads across affected communities, non-state actors will have a rethink, drop their violent atrocities, and embrace peace. Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
The presidency has insisted that the vice president, Kashim Shettima, and his principal, President Bola Tinubu, are in good terms, stressing that both politicians share an unbreakable bond. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, in a statement debunked speculations on Saturday morning, saying such insinuations exist only in the imagination of mischief makers. He further said there have been recent insinuations that the vice president is being denied access into the presidential villa by the security personnel in the State House, a development he dismissed as totally untrue. He described the rumor as a deliberate and well-planned orchestration of falsehood against the vice president's person and office in many multidimensional forms. Over in Bayelsa State, residents of Ekiki in Yenagoa, the capital, were plunged into grief on Saturday following a fire outbreak that rendered many homeless and resulted in the loss of properties, including cash estimated to be worth millions of naira. According to affected residents, they witnessed two boys with a gallon of fuel shortly before their houses were deliberately set ablaze. Consequently, they are appealing to the relevant authorities for urgent intervention. Trust TV's Friday Bambore Peter reports.
Several occupants of the affected buildings, including Joy Uzo, John Uzo, Margaret Ebi, and Happiness Samuel, recounted their harrowing experiences.
My pikin dey hospital since 3 weeks now. As me I can't take something far from. Yes, you don't buy, no pick anything, nothing, everything just finish. I don't know how I go take do.
So over 3 weeks now, my family there for hospital for Maryland. I had a pass for that one. And today, that's like this is when they go to Easter. I said they come back today so that they will do Easter. So now they call, they know if they collect it from my hand, they just enter come direct for the house. So when they come here, my wife and I say, you see 2 people carry fuel for rubber. You see 2 people carry fuel for rubber. So they never reach, they just pour the fuel, put fire. They damage everything I get for the house, everything burn, no one, let's anything come out. And next week I my picture education.
Wetin happen? I just from outside we come. I see 2 boys carry fuel. As I just enter, something make bra, fuel don't pull my legs. Before I know the thing don't vap, don't burn the whole of damage all. Even my 260,000 naira self, don't finish everything off. I don't know where I will start. Just come this by yourself. So they saw for Wakamaki. They just come and say my house don't burn. I just enter the rush come. When I come, I don't see anything. School, nothing like blood. Everything don't burn. So I don't really know what's happening for the compound.
Osain Rochelle, the landlord's son, whose house was also destroyed, identified the individuals allegedly responsible for the arson and urged the relevant agencies to take immediate action.
There has been a lingering land issue concerning my father and Honorable Freedom Osain and Fidelis Osain and Fiesla Osain. So one of their in-law called Mr. Lazarus Etibamu. Today they went to the scene of the crime at the bush where the land is situated. So getting to the land, Mr. Lazarus, who happens to be their in-law, fell down and collapsed. So they rushed him down to the FMC. So along the process, everybody's running around on how Lazarus can jump back to life. Just for all to hear information that Freedom Osain sent Marcus Matthew Etibamu and his boys, Fidelis, Fietibe, with some boys. They came down and burned down my father's house. As you can see, we are seeing it. All their house is totally burned down.
Community youths had already extinguished the fire before the arrival of the State Fire Service from Yenagoa. Friday, Ebumobowe Peter, Trust TV News.
A 2-story building has collapsed at Oremeta Street in Ojudubega area of Lagos State, trapping many workers and customers. The collapsed building, housing the popular Equal Rights restaurant and bar, left several workers and customers trapped, while some of the people have reportedly died. Reports early Saturday revealed that 7 persons had been rescued by the community members and Lasema officials, adding that 5 others were rescued later, bringing the total number to 12. Later in the day, it was reported that 2 dead bodies have been recovered from the scene, while more than 4 persons who are still alive are still trapped under the rubble at the time of filing in this report.
Look at any dead person. You can't say it is 10, you can't say it is 20. And that is why we are painstakingly to carry out search and rescue. And that is why we are using both light duty equipment, we are using heavy duty equipment, and all the top echelons that are important in managing emergency are on the ground.
And you know, no matter how strong the building itself is, I'm not saying that in terms of integrity, you know, the building is okay. But no matter how strong it is, it's been exposed to weather conditions, rain on a yearly basis for the past 15 years, maybe up to 20 years if the construction started maybe 5 years before the abandonment. You know, but what is wrong, which is what we've been trying to tell Lagosians, is do not try to inhabit uncompleted properties.
Reinforcement and concrete and the formwork. You know, they will put the reinforcement, make the formwork and pour concrete inside. Now, when you have that kind of a structure, it's not yet covered, it's not yet encased, it's not yet plastered. So, and if you not leave it for long, the tendency is that water will penetrate, especially if that construction is not done properly. Because in any construction element, either be the foundation, the columns, the beams, or the front slab, water must not enter into it. Because the danger in construction is when water penetrates the structures to affect the reinforcement.
We noticed that the house was cracking, you know, like throwing stones a little bit, but nobody knew that the building was about to collapse. So suddenly we knew that customers are already inside with the staff of this restaurant and bar. Suddenly the house was coming down gradually from the earth because they erected some buildings on the second floor because it's of the 2 floor. I mean 1, 2, 3.
This morning around 8 morning. So that was when the building collapsed. Some people were inside, while some are still working, without the workers, and some are about to go out when it happened.
With Easter Sunday just hours away, residents in Yanogo, the Basel State capital, are calling on all Christians to continue in civil reflection as they await the joyous celebration of Jesus' resurrection. This follows a strong advisory for youths to refrain from engaging in any criminal activities during this festive season. Trust TV's Friday Rebel Peter has more for us in this report.
Holy Saturday holds profound significance in the Christian calendar, marking the day Jesus Christ's body rested in the tomb following his crucifixion on Good Friday. It is traditionally observed as a day of reflection, contemplation, and patient anticipation for the celebration of the resurrection on Easter Sunday.
Like from yesterday to Monday, the road they reached. Everybody knows at Easter, our Lord Jesus Christ came to die for our sins and resurrected. So we should keep these 3 days holy to like thank him for the good thing that he has come to do in our life. And we should keep the day holy. And we should still appreciate him and keep ourselves holy so that we will do good things in our life.
Today being Saturday, it's also being believed that Christians are under super reflection, you know, watching and waiting for the resurrection of Jesus Christ in the tomb. And the whole world, as Christians, is a sacred moment for all Christians. It's a time for you to look at your life spiritually and your relationship with God.
The president of the Ijaw Youth Council, IYC, Jonathan Lopobre, has specifically appealed to youth at all levels to resist the temptation to exploit the season for nefarious purposes, emphasizing the inherent dangers of such actions.
It is my advice and admonition that this is not a period to perpetrate crimes under the guise of celebrating Easter. It's a period where we honor the sacredness of the moment and the sacrifices of our Lord Jesus Christ to humanity. And that sacrifice at the cross is what has paved the way for our living as a people who believe in the Christian faith. So I would advise young men, especially of the Ijaw nation, to avoid crimes. In the process of committing crime, sometimes your lives can also go. Sometimes you can also be arrested. Sometimes you can be injured and all of that. So it's not a season for criminality.
Holy Saturday is a time when Christians often remember Jesus' time in the tomb and the belief in the descent into the realm of the dead, where he is said to have preached the righteous souls who had passed before him. This day serves as a poignant transition from the sorrow and solemnity of Good Friday to the triumphant joy of Easter Sunday. From Yenagoa, Friday, Ibmobowe Peter, Trust TV News.
The biting economic inflation in Nigeria has made basic sustenance a struggle, let alone affording extra help. Consequently, the cost of hiring a housemate has surged, posing a significant challenge for families, particularly those with multiple children, in finding trustworthy and affordable domestic assistance. Compounding this issue is the heightened insecurity nationwide and reports of mistreatment and abuse, leading many parents, especially mothers, to hesitate in sending their daughters to work as housemates. Victoria Tokolo spoke with Lagos residents to delve deeper into the implications of the high cost of hiring domestic help. Her report is presented from our studio.
Currently, the Nigerian government encourages the hiring of housemates, a sentiment echoed by many citizens who question the practice altogether. The primary concerns revolve around families having limited or no knowledge of the backgrounds and character of the housemates they employ. Some Lagos residents believe that hiring a housemate can introduce unwelcome and disruptive elements into the home. They metaphorically describe it as inviting a foreign influence that could potentially breed conflicts, misunderstanding, and even division within the family units. Speaking on the escalating cost of hiring housemates, numerous Nigerians are urging the government to prioritize creation of more employment opportunities. They contend that while no parent genuinely desire their child to become a housemate, the prevailing economic hardship often leaves them with few alternatives.
I have seen so many people hiring housemates that will come and maltreat the children under them. Even some of them will eventually marry the husband of their other. So I don't advise anybody to hire housemaid for his children.
Your relationship with that housemaid, if you are bad to them, then they will return it to your child. It's vice versa. So the best thing is that anybody that are hiring them should be of a good behavior.
Nobody will be happy to defend their child to somebody for maltreat or for any other thing. But when you have frustration of living, or frustration of or many other frustrations that there are many. That is why you see many people are giving their children. I mean, they left their children to the housemaid or any other thing.
Across Africa, a growing skepticism surrounds parents entrusting their children to work as housemates. Deepening these concerns are widespread reports of unscrupulous agents exploiting vulnerable children, particularly girls, leading to abuses such as child trafficking and in some instances, forced prostitution. This disturbing trend have spurred the government to adopt a more proactive stance against the unregulated hiring of housemates. As a result, many are of the opinion that housemates should strictly adhere to the domestic duties for which they were hired. They called for stringent actions against anyone found guilty of exploiting housemates for trafficking, prostitution, or any form of abuse within the country.
Yes, they new housemates that you hire, they work for you, you feed them, that's no problem. They listen to you, you can get them directly that time, you can get them directly or through an agent too. But this agent thing has been for long. But in the past, they used to be honest. But now it's not the same again.
Where they go SS3, where na university they go, where na poly, see them come work there. They no go do as girl.
But using the children as I'm not a prostitute. So those people who took them to that place for prostitute, they should prosecute them. Someone for housemaid it should be used for what you hired the person for, not actually for trafficking or slavery or something. Nigeria has gone past the age of slavery.
While no one aspires to be a housemaid, the prevailing economic realities in the country are forcing many to take on such roles as a means of survival.
You're still on to News Hour and Trust TV. Still to come. Volunteer teachers in Bauchi demand government employment. When we return, please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that death toll in Benue attacks hits 55. Governor Aliya seeks federal government's help. Also informed you a 2 killed, 13 rescued in Lagos building collapse. Two more stories. The Nigerian police force says it has completed the extradition of Benjamin Best Nyarugo, widely known as Killer Boy, from Doha, Qatar to Nigeria. Killer Boy, who had been on the run for the murder of Augusta Onuwamagbi, was returned to the country in the early hours of Saturday through the coordinated efforts of the Ministry of Justice, Interpol, National Central Bureau (NCB), the Nigerian Police Force Headquarters Abuja, and the Qatari judicial authorities. The extradition followed the petition from the family of the deceased submitted through their legal representatives dated 29 September 2024. A statement by Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi said the matter was assigned to Interpol NCB Abuja, after which investigations revealed that the suspect murdered Augusta, a 21-year-old first-class student of Leeds City University, Bado, in his residence located at number 24A Abiola Akboyi Street, Oral Estate, Aja, Lagos, on the 13th of July 2023. After committing the crime, he fled Nigeria and later released an online video purporting to confess to the act, a deceptive strategy to derail investigative efforts. After being declared wanted by the MPF, Lagos State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, on 13th October 2023, an Interpol red notice was issued for his global apprehension.
I'm here this afternoon to formally hand over a murder suspect, one Benjamin Best, 9 years ago, 28 years, who was extradited from Qatar to Nigeria today, 19th April 2025. In addition, I equally hand over SBs recovered from the suspect and other items for the command further action, please.
On the directive of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olukayode Adeoye, MP and PhD, we have taken over from CP Olukayode Ojajuni, the CP Interpol Lagos, the suspect wanted by this command for quite some time now, getting to like 2 years. He committed the crime of murder on the 13th day of July 2023. A young lady, Augusta Osaidion Onwabobo, a female 21 years old, who was a student of a university. At that point in time, we want to mention the name of the university, but it was murdered in the suspect's residence.
The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has demanded justice for Quadri Yusuf Alabi over his imprisonment on false robbery allegations. Speaking on Friday via his X handle, Obi also demanded that all those responsible for his incarceration must be held accountable. Trust TV reports that Quadri became popular after he playfully stood in front of the motorcade of Obi in Lagos during the 2023 elections campaign. He was, however, arrested initially for street fighting before being arraigned for armed robbery and remanded in Kirikiri Maximum Custodial Center. He was later released after the judge dismissed his arraignment for want of evidence linking him to the said armed robbery. He said Quadri's determination is not just inspiring, but a call to action, adding that he was committed to ensuring that Quadri gets the education he deserves. and desires. Now, the Lagos State Police Command has said that the 18-year-old boy Alabi Quadri, who became mayor during the 2023 presidential election for standing in front of Labour Party's candidate's motorcade, was arrested and remanded in a correctional facility for street fighting as against armed robbery. This was disclosed in a statement on its X handle signed by the command's public relations officer, CSP Benjamin Hundeyin, on Saturday. The police explained that Quadri was arrested and charged to court after being linked to a violent street fight in the Amukoko area of Lagos earlier this year. The police clarification comes after Alabi was freed on Thursday by magistrate court in Apapa following legal advice from the Lagos State Director of Public Prosecutions, which said it found no evidence to support the armed robbery charge against him. His lawyer, Inibehe Efyong, said Alabi's arrest and detention were part of a diabolical frame up by two local thugs known in the Amukoko area as Lege and Babawaris. A major breakthrough in the fight against crime was said to have been recorded in Taraba State as police operatives arrested a notorious criminal and recovered a cache of arms, including a rifle previously stolen from the command. According to a statement released by the Taraba State Police Command on Saturday, acting on credible intelligence, operatives from the State Intelligence Department, SID, in collaboration with a local vigilante group, were said to have apprehended 40-year-old Umar Ahmed at a roadblock in Jalingo. According to the statement signed by the command spokesperson, James Leshan, the suspect from London, Maidoro, Gombe State, had reportedly been on the police radar for several months. Further investigation, as made known by the command, revealed that one of the recovered rifles with serial number 08893 was identified as property of the Taraba State Police Command. The weapon was among those stolen during a deadly ambush in 2023 in which suspected kidnappers attacked the police anti-kidnapping unit attempting to rescue Alhaji Buba Nyala, a second-class chief of Popule village in Yoro local government area. The ambush resulted in the death of ASP Aminu Nuhu and the rifle taken during the incident. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, has announced April 24, 2025 as the new date for the commencement of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME nationwide. The update was made known in an official statement signed by Fabian Benjamin, the Public Communication Advisor to JAM, on Saturday. The examination was originally scheduled to begin on Friday, April 25th, but was moved forward due to what the board described as essential commitments by the board and its partner agencies. As part of preparations, JAM has opened its portal for candidates to print the examination notification slips. The notification slips contain vital information, including examination date, venue, also known as center, and time. To print the slip, students are advised to visit www.jam.gov.ng, click on 2025 UTME slip printing, enter the registration number, and click on print examination slip. The board advised all candidates to print their slips and familiarize themselves with the location of the centers before the date of the examination to help ease any last-minute confusion or delays on the exam day. Volunteer teachers play a crucial role in Nigerian communities, contributing to education by bridging gaps in government schools and providing support to marginalized communities. They are often sought after by organizations and schools facing teacher shortages, and they can make a significant impact in the lives of children. Trustee Adamu Imam tells us more in this report.
The role of volunteer teachers in Nigerian public schools cannot be overemphasized, filling a crucial gap in schools facing teacher shortage or in areas with limited access to quality education. Some volunteer teachers in Bauchi State urge government to recruit them into the civil service in the state.
We are reminding the state government of its recent promise to give volunteers a chance to be employed as teachers in the state. Some people are coming through the back door hoping to be employed, while we who are already doing the work are watching. Let the state governor consider us.
Since from primary section to junior section, we are helping the student. Our participation, we have a lot of problems. We don't have us anything like pencil, textbook, exercise book that we write in our lesson plan.
Now I'm primary since I started this volunteer almost 10 years ago. I have one wife and 6 children, and I was survivor with this for the school commissions.
Malam Muhammad Abdullahi, a parent, and other senior teachers share their perspectives on the need to enhance community engagement by building bridges between communities and educational institutions.
The major challenges with volunteer teachers is transportation. We occasionally appreciate their efforts, but sometimes they find it difficult to get to school from far distance. Despite their commitments, they are yet to be employed by the state governments.
Most of them are coming in for some of our permanent teachers. We actually appreciate their efforts. We want the government to assist them. Actually, if the government wish to give appointment letters to, if they really want to appoint teachers, they have to start with the volunteers. Actually, because they are helping us in many ways in this school, because we involve them in all our activities.
The teachers said volunteering can be a valuable way to gain teaching experience and build professional skills while contributing to the overall development of communities. Adamima, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
For years, the Lapan community in Gombe State has celebrated its Cultural Day with the dual purpose of promoting peace and fostering interaction with indigenous people living outside the immediate area. The annual event, held in the border town between Shungum and Kaltungo local governments, traditionally showcases the vibrant cultural dances and unique traditional dishes of the Tango tribe, which predominantly inhabit the region. However, this year's Cultural Day marked a significant shift as the community launched an empowerment fund specifically aimed at bolstering education. Hassan Kohli tells us more in this report.
For the Lafan community in Gombe State, this annual gathering transcends mere cultural displays and it serves as a crucial forum for collectively address pressing issues facing residents and chart a course for progress. According to community members, this event has historically been primary platform for discussing and deliberating on developmental matters within the region, with education being a key focus. They cite past successes, noting that such gatherings facilitated the establishment of a school that subsequently produced influential individuals for the nation. This initiative reflects the community's strong belief that investing in education will cultivate a more productive populace, benefiting not only Lafan but the wider world.
Any educated person, any educated human being, be male or female, is an asset to the nation. For us, education has been our industry here within this community, and we felt it is high time for us to continue to develop, to continue to excel in what we have been known for. We are doing this occasion just in order to unify the entire Lapan community and also to see how we can develop the community in terms of educational endowment trust fund, because it is necessary, because education is the basic or the basis for success.
The Lafan community prides itself on its inclusive nature, extending support and hospitality to every resident regardless of their tribal or religious affiliations.
Any tribe that is within this our geographical location will benefit from our plan, and in fact we will extend it outside. That's why we say we want to make it a model, so that those who are not even in Lapan, they will copy our own system and use it. We are very, very careful for those who have patronized us.
Traditional and political leaders of the Tengle community lauded Lafan for its proactive focus on education. They commended the Community Development Association for this initiative and pledged their support for the advancement of education within Lapan.
Lapan community has been force and it has been frontiers, I urge the other communities in Songom local government, let them emulate what Lapan has done today.
Education is a passion because I'm an academic myself, and so it's also a cultural tradition of my constituency. In that regard, we have been supporting education initiatives.
Let it not be restricted to Lapan. We have our flag, we have our house, we have our schools, we have other places like even if there are people, the people, they all need assistance. Yeah, the community has to play a vital role because all these funds are coming direct to them. So therefore, we owe them. They have to be faithful and transparent while deciding their.
I want to start by congratulating the leadership of the government fund for their focus and determination to see that they prove point that this excellence has put in place. That point is certainly the education.
The cultural troupe Allaku, alongside other extinct Tangale singers and dancers, provided vibrant entertainment for the participants at the annual gathering. The event concluded with a strong call to prioritize and strengthen the education sector within this agrarian community. Hassan Kohli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
The Kebbi State government has approved the appointment of Dr. Aminu Haliru Bunza as the new district head of Bunza in the Gwandu Emirate. This was announced in a statement signed by the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Garaba Umaru Dumsimari, and made available to journalists in Breeding Kebbi on Friday. The appointment follows the death of the former district head, Mustafa Bunza, in Bozo local government area. According to the commissioner, 9 candidates from the ruling houses applied for the position. He said all applicants were screened by the Emirate Selection Committee before a short list of 3 was forwarded to the state government. According to the statement, after a thorough assessment, Dr. Aminu Haliru Bunza was selected and approved as the new district head of Bunza. The Customs Area Controller in charge of Ogun 1 Area Command of the Nigerian Customs Service, Muhammad Shoaibu, has disclosed that the command processed 329.6 metric tons of export consignments between January and March of 2025. Shoaibu put the value of the processed exports consignment at over 200 million naira while speaking to newsmen on Tuesday at Abeokuta, said the export was facilitated under the free on-board international trade arrangement. Here's more.
Shoaibu also disclosed that the command under his leadership has continued to promote socio-economic development in Nigeria through revenue generation, anti-smuggling operations and trade facilitation in the period under review.
I have dedicated my last 3 months collaborating, consolidating, synergizing, and engaging with critical stakeholders within and outside the country for seamless and legitimate trade while enforcing government fiscal policy against smuggling activities. Within the state, I took my time to visit traditional institutions, head of security agencies, e.g., Nigerian Police Force, NPF, NIS, Nigerian Immigration Service, NDLA, DSS, and other sister agencies in order for us to be on the same page.
On revenue generation, Shoaibu said the Ogun 1 Area Command collected a sum of 43,412,794 naira from import duty and auction sales of petroleum products intercepted during the anti-smuggling operations between January and March. He, however, noted that the revenue generated in the first quarter of 2025 surpassed what was generated in the same period in 2024 by 7,606,232 naira, adding that the cumulative duty paid value for all seizures amounted to 314,057,716 naira.
During the period under review, the command collected a total sum of 43,412,794 naira only from import duty and auction sales of petroleum products intercepted during anti-smuggling operations. I would like to reiterate that The revenue activity of the command comprises importation and exportation of instrument goods under the ECOWAS Trade Administration Scheme, and assessment of merchandise in baggage. This amount surpassed what was generated same period last year, 2024, with 7,606,232 naira only.
Operatives of the command, according to Shaibu, intensified their anti-smuggling operations, which resulted in 161 seizures, while the cannabis sativa seized has since been handed over to the Ogun State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Abeokuta, the capital. While receiving the items, Sunday Adeyeye, the Commander Iduroko Special Area Command of the NDLEA, commended the Customs Command for the seizures. Both agencies pledged to foster collaborative efforts to rid the nation of smuggling and illicit drugs.
And the business in the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has raised concerns over the persistently high levels of poverty and food insecurity in Nigeria, despite key economic reforms undertaken by the federal government since 2023. This was disclosed in a statement issued on Friday at the end of the IMF's Article 4 consultation mission into Nigeria, which held between April 2nd and 15th, 2025. The mission, led by Axel Schmeifling, met with top government and economic stakeholders, including the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edo, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Yemi Cardoso, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, and representatives from civil society, the private sector, and academia. The IMF acknowledged that Nigeria had made important steps to stabilize the economy by ending central bank financing of fiscal deficits, removing fuel subsidies, and improving the functioning of the foreign exchange market. However, it noted that the impact of these reforms had yet to trickle down to the general population. Nigeria's economy witnessed a decline in net foreign exchange inflow in January 2025, attributed to reduced contributions to the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The January 2025 CBN Economic Report, released on April 17, reveals that net foreign exchange inflows amounted to $4.79 billion, a 4.49% decrease compared to $5.01 billion recorded in December of 2024. The report outlines significant fluctuations in both aggregate inflow and outflow. Aggregate foreign exchange inflows dropped to $9.63 billion in January, down from $10.17 billion in December 2024. Similarly, foreign exchange outflows decreased to $4.84 billion from $5.17 billion over the same period. The decline in foreign exchange inflows through the CBN was notable, falling to $2.33 billion from $4.09 billion recorded in December of 2024. The Volvo Group has announced plans to lay off up to 800 workers at 3 of its U.S. facilities over the next 3 months, citing ongoing market uncertainty and declining demand exacerbated by tariffs introduced by President Donald Trump. The affected locations include the Mark truck plant in Markham-J, Pennsylvania, as well as Volvo Group sites in Dublin, Virginia, and Hagerstown, Maryland. In a statement on Friday, Volvo Group North America confirmed that between 550 and 800 employees would be impacted. The company, a subsidiary of Sweden's AB Volvo, employs nearly 20,000 people across North America. The layoffs come amid while the turmoil in the automotive and manufacturing sectors is shifting U.S. trade policy and a series of tariffs continue to drive up production costs. Economists have pointed to the uncertainty surrounding Trump's trade strategy as a factor undermining both business and consumer confidence, with concerns mounting over a potential economic slowdown or recession. On the international scene, at least 143 people died and dozens more went missing after a boat carrying fuel caught fire and capsized in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, officials disclosed on Friday. Hundreds of passengers were crowded onto a wooden boat on the Congo River in northwest DRC on Tuesday when the blaze broke out, according to Josephine Pacifique Lukumo, head of a delegation of national deputies from the region. The disaster occurred near Mbandaka, capital of Equateur province at the confluence of the Ruki and the vast Congo River, the world's deepest. Joseph Lukondo, a local civil society leader who said he helped bury the bodies, put the provisional death toll at 145, saying some were burned while others drowned. Lukondo said the blaze was caused by a fuel explosion ignited by an onboard cooking fire. Banks and gas stations that had gone on strike in Mali on Friday called off their action after reaching an agreement with the junta, the union and the government, said. The National Union of Banks, Insurance Companies, Financial Institutions, Retailers and Gas Stations had stopped work on Thursday to demand the release of 3 union members arrested a month ago and to advocate for better working conditions. A joint statement from Sinabef and an office attached to the Prime Minister's office announced the suspension of the strike order late Friday following a meeting between the union and a government delegation led by Prime Minister Abdoulaye Mega. A union source said on Friday that the 3 arrested members will be released on Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. Over the United States, the Supreme Court on Saturday paused the Trump administration's deportation of alleged Venezuelan gang members under an 18th century law. U.S. President Donald Trump invoked the 1798 Alien Enemies Act (AEA) last month to begin rounding up Venezuelan migrants accused of belonging to the Tren de Aragua gang before expelling them to a maximum security prison in El Salvador. The obscure law has only previously been used during the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. The order came after rights lawyers filed an emergency appeal to halt the deportation of migrants currently held in a facility in the southern state of Texas. The American Civil Liberties Union said in its emergency filing on Friday night that the group of Venezuelans held in Texas had been told they will be imminently removed under the AEA as soon as tonight. Attorneys for several of the Venezuelans previously deported have said their clients were not members of the Tren de Aragua, had committed no crimes, and were targeted largely on the basis of their tattoos. In sports, Nigeria's under-17 women's national team, the Flamingos, made a bold statement. In their FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifying campaign was dominant 4-0 win over Algeria in the first leg played at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikenne. The host got off to a flying start with Queen Joseph opening the scoring in just the first minute, capitalizing on a defensive lapse to give Nigeria the early lead. The pressure continued as Zainab Raji doubled the advantage in the 13th minute, showing superb dribbling skills before firing a low shot into the back of the net. Queen Joseph completed her brace in the 17th minute with a stunning electric strike that left the Algerian goalkeeper with no chance, putting the Flamingos firmly in control with a 3-0 cushion before the 20-minute mark. The Flamingos remained dominant throughout the match, creating numerous chances and keeping Algeria pinned back in their half. Their efforts were finally capped in stoppage time when Aishat Animashan called in the 4th goal in the 90th minute from the edge of the 18-yard box, sealing an emphatic victory. With a 4-0 aggregate lead, Nigeria heads into the second leg in Algeria on Friday 25th with one foot firmly in the next round of the qualifiers. That concludes News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news, programs, documentaries, do follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.